Right, welcome back to a very, very special episode of TJ Tremor TV and my very first Q&A with TJ. So some of you know, so the people who actually did post questions, thank you very, very much. So earlier this week, that's just gone by, I posted a Q&A segment on my Instagram story for you guys to send questions and get them answered by me. Who wouldn't want that? So yeah, thank you to all those who did send in questions, and this might be a potentially a lengthy video, but hey ho, we're going to get all the questions done and dusted. So without further ado, come along with me on this very, very special episode of TJ Tremor Goes Q&A. Right, so for those of you who don't know, I am currently in the United Kingdom, busy trying to make a name for myself as a professional wrestler. And it's going super well so far. So I'm blessed about that. Really happy about that. So we're going to get into it. We're going to answer all your guys' questions that you sent me. And just for safety's sake, I'm not going to mention the names of the people who sent in the questions. But I'll read out the questions and I'm just going to answer them to the best of my ability. So hopefully I do a good job and you guys are satisfied. So please let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. For the people that watch this, and if I haven't answered a question clearly, just ask again, and I'll do it again. So, we're going to get into the first question. So, this is probably going to be a bit of a lengthy video, so stick around, get your popcorn, get your drinks, and man, have fun. Have fun. So, our first question, when should we expect TJ Tremor back on African soil? So, TJ Tremor is scheduled to be back in Africa towards the end of September. So around the end of September, I leave here for now. That is, for now. I leave here for now and I head back to South Africa. So yeah, the last week of September, my flight back to South Africa. Next question. When did you decide to be a pro wrestler? Oh, I love this question. This is such a lengthy question actually. So pretty much, for those of you who don't know, I am a third generation wrestler. So my dad and his brother used to be wrestlers, and like down the lineage and everything like that as well. So yeah, I'm currently a third generation worker. So being with my dad like throughout the years and stuff, going to wrestling shows, going to wrestling practices when I was a kid, it was only like really natural for me to fall into everything. So I started like playing around in the ring when I was about 8 years old, like play almost. Then as I got older, I started like training properly. And I had my first match when I was around 15, 16, down in Port Elizabeth. And I'm now 24. So I've had a good run so far. So yeah, really blessed about that and really, really happy about that. So to answer the question, when did you decide to be a pro wrestler? I never decided. It just happened, man. I was in my blood and it was just not a matter of if I was going to be a wrestler. It was just when it was going to happen. So yeah. Are you the best in Africa? Ooh, guys, that's a very touchy subject. But I am the All Africa champion. I'm just saying. No, I'm joking, guys. I'm not the best in Africa. So I like to think that I'm a good worker, good wrestler, and I believe that the other wrestlers in South Africa are all good wrestlers. I don't believe there's a best. I just believe we're a happy family that works together. So I don't believe there's a specific best. I do believe that there are people that are better than other people, but at the same time, everyone at the end of the day works together. So yeah, am I the best in Africa? No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to be a very not popular, but just a very good wrestler. That's just what I'm trying to do. And make it on the international scene as well. Okay. While in the UK, has there been a clash of styles? Clash of styles. I originally, when I read this, I thought it had something to do with like a styles clash. But then it came clear to me that it was styles as in wrestling styles. So, firstly, no. Because the way that I got brought up in the wrestling scene, my dad always wanted me to be a more technical wrestler. He didn't want me to do a lot of the high flying stuff, which I've never really done before, but I can do certain things. I don't really like the flashy big things. Not saying that they're not cool. They're very cool. It's just that I can't do them. Like a big guy, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", guys. I can't flip and tuck and do all those things. So to the guys who can do it, I respect you. But yeah, big guys don't fold very well, and they don't fall nicely either. Falls are very hard. But a clash in style. So basically, I got brought up more the English style, the technical wrestling aspect of it, the more matted, grounded wrestling. And that's the way I started wrestling, and that's the way I got brought up. So for me, I've kind of just fallen into the way that things are here, if that makes sense. So yeah, for me personally, there hasn't been a style clash as of yet. So I've been here for 2.5 weeks already. I've had a couple matches here. So yeah, for me personally, there hasn't been an intense clash of styles just yet. But I am here for a lot longer, so who knows, there may be at some point, but for now, no. Okay, I am a wrestler, but currently I struggle with my cardio. Any advice on how to improve it? Okay, I'm gonna give anyone a plug here, whether it's anything else cardio related or whether it's wrestling cardio. So wrestling cardio, for those of you who don't know, is really, really hard. Like, they always say you bring it when you do wrestling cardio, bring a bucket to practice for you to puke in afterwards, because wrestling cardio is rough. So it's a lot of like up down, get your wind knocked out, back again, up down, run the ropes. So it's very like, I would compare it to if I had to do it like a normal exercise, just doing burpees on like a continuous thing while getting your wind knocked out, because it's always like up down. I call it up down fitness. So tips for me to improve it, something that I've personally found that's helped me a ton, like an immense ton, I can't even put into words, the Stairmaster. So this little machine over here, the Stairmaster. So I gym about like 6 days a week. I try to gym, but before, even if I don't like do an intense session, I make pride in myself of doing 30 minutes on that machine every single day. It's just something that I found that's helped me with my breath, because I've wrestled matches where I've been like super unfit, and I literally got back to the change room afterwards and I felt like I was going to like drop down dead of a heart attack or something, because like I was like you know. So I just feel that the Stepmaster has helped me so much, like in terms of cardio. So if I had any advice to anybody in the wrestling world who wants to improve their cardio, man, climb on the Stepmaster. 30 minutes a day keeps the doctor away, as I always say. So yeah, any advice, I really live by it. So what I tend to do in my gym sessions, I get to gym and I go straight to the stairs and I do the stairs for 30 minutes. So you try and start on like a nice easy one. So you have to build up to 30 minutes though. So you can, if you're feeling like up to it, you can do it straight, but I like to build up to it. So I do, or when I started doing it, I used to do like 10 minutes, and the next day I do like 10.5 minutes, and I would do 11 minutes, and until I've virtually built up to 30. What I'm currently doing is I walk the stairs for 5 minutes just to warm up on like a generally slowish pace, and then I turn the machine off, and then I restart it for 30 minutes, and I do 1 minute like completely rolling, that I'm virtually running up the stairs, and then after a minute's gone by, then I put it to like regular normal climbing steps, then another minute, so a minute on, minute off, minute on, minute off, until you get to 30 minutes, which is quite, like, you will literally be dripping with sweat afterwards. So I find that I have to go get a towel to dry off the machine. So any advice? The Stairmaster. Genuinely, you will not go wrong with that. What advice would you give to up-and-coming wrestlers in South Africa, or in general? So any advice to up-and-coming wrestlers? Get to a training school. So there is in Johannesburg, I recommend APWA, coached by Ananzi. Ananzi's helped me so much in my career as well. So yeah, I recommend APWA. Down in Cape Town, I know Johnny Palazzo and AWA have a thing going there, so you can get down to them. Or if you're in PE, the GQ, when I get back, I'm going to be coaching at the CPW Pro Wrestling School down in PE, GQ. So yeah, my advice to you is get to a wrestling school and learn from other people. So my advice as well, if I had to give anyone any advice, and again, don't come at me for it, I'm just saying this because I've been in the scene for a long time and I know how things kind of go. Attitude is so important. Don't come in with an entitled mentality thinking that the world wrestling business owes you something, because you're never going to get anywhere with that. A lot of promoters don't like dealing with like people who are like difficult. So if you're an easy person to work with, if you're willing to learn, like, you'll go so far in the business. Again, learn from the people and listen to the people who have been in the business longer than you. I've learned so much just from having conversations with people who've been in this business longer than I have. So it's really, really helpful. Learn from other people, listen to the people who are older than you. Your coaches at your training schools, listen to them because they do know the best and they have been in the business for a long time. And just in general, something that I've done like since I'm in the UK, take a risk. Don't doubt yourself, because you never know what's gonna materialize. If you think that you want to wrestle and you think that you'll make it, do it. Don't say that you're going to do it in 10 years time. You realize, oh, what would have happened if I did join a wrestling school? Because you're never going to know. That's what I've done on this UK trip. I said, you know what? I've dropped everything, quit my job, quit everything, and I've come here because in 10 years time, I don't want to look back on it and say, oh man, what happened? I wonder what would have happened if I had gone to the UK, you know? So my advice is take a risk, go to training schools and listen to the people and learn from the people that are older than you. I've still got so much to learn in this business. As long as what I've been in here, I've got so much to learn still. So yeah, you never stop learning. That's one thing about wrestling. You never ever stop learning, because you're always learning something new. There's always a different way to hold a headlock. There's always a different way. Okay, not that, but I mean, you know what I'm talking about. There's always a different way of getting out of a move. There's something that you continuously learn, and you continuously have to adapt your styles to the people that you're going to end up working with and working against. So my advice in general, take a risk. And also cardio, guys. Work on your cardio, because you don't want to rock up to a wrestling school, or you don't want to rock up to a wrestling show and you're unfit. And the thing that I wanted to do when I came over to the UK is you want to impress. So you don't want people, you want to go somewhere thinking, oh man, that person was really good. You don't want them thinking, oh man, that kid from South Africa, man, he's not great. Like, let's not book him. You want to leave an impression wherever you go. So that's attitude wise, that's wrestling wise, that's everything. Be an easy person. So, and again, like in wrestling, do what you're told. Like, if someone says to do something, you listen. Yes, sir. Do the job. Go home. Do it, and you come back. Because again, that builds your reputation. Your reputation is super, super important when it comes to wrestling. So yeah, that's my advice to the people coming up into the wrestling world. Okay. My next question, who is your favorite wrestler of all time? Oh, that's a difficult one, guys. That is so difficult. I don't have a top one. I like to call it a top 5 because yeah, I can't pick. I know there's so many people that I would look up to, but if I had to make a top 5, the people that I grew up like really, really liking is, for one, Edge. Edge is probably one of my all-time greats. Shawn Michaels, I've learned so much just from watching his tapes. Triple H as well, so much. You can learn so much from them. I was a big Roddy Piper fan back in the day, and I loved his work, just his promos, the way he worked, the way he conducted himself in the ring, man. I'm a huge Roddy Piper fan. And again, it wouldn't be a top 5 if you don't mention one of the all-time greats, Ric Flair, man. Literally from the promo to in the ring to out the ring, the way he carried himself, man, that just embodied what every wrestler should want to be like, in my opinion. Again, these are all my opinions. So, man, that would be my top 5. Yes, there are guys that I would like. That's just something that's just skimmed to make it inside there. But there's so many other guys that I look up to, and I would want to put in that top 5. But that's just if I had to make a top 5 of wrestling. Okay, next question. What do you want to do to elevate the South African wrestling scene? So that's essentially what I'm doing now. I'm trying to make a name for myself in the UK, but essentially I'm trying to put Africa on the map as well. Like, I'm trying to show the world that put eyes on South Africa, because people always say, or I've always heard that if you want a good wrestler, you go look in America, or go look in the UK, or go look in Europe. But no one ever mentions Africa, and I want to put eyes on South Africa for people to see that. So if they look at me, for instance, I'm like in the UK at the moment, or they could potentially like look for anyone specifically who's working overseas. There are lots of guys from South Africa working overseas, but for me specifically, I want them to look at me and think, oh damn, he's decent. He's from South Africa. I wonder if there's anything else in South Africa. And then for people to look into South Africa and see the actual talent that we have there. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a name for myself, but build a name for Africa as well. And something that I am doing as well, like I mentioned, when I get back, I'm going to be starting up a wrestling school with CPW down in my hometown of Port Elizabeth, GQ. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I would love to learn things from other people, and then again pass on my experiences to the people who I end up coaching as well. So yeah, that's what I would like to do to elevate the South African wrestling scene. Okay, what advice do you have to the rookie starting out in the world of pro wrestling? Okay, this was a very similar question to the ones that I answered before. But again, training schools, go to them, learn from the people that are older than you. Your attitude is super important. Don't come in with entitled mentalities. And yeah, just have good work ethic and listen. All you got to do, listen, practice listening. So just to reiterate those ones. This one, have you found, I'm going to say, this is from the Peckham Playboy, Hakan. Yeah, me and him worked really well in the Royal Rumble at Rumble Wrestling. Man, it was so much fun. He has asked me, what have you found different in the UK compared to South Africa? Okay, so the wrestling scene in South Africa, what I've personally found is very different to that of the UK. South African wrestling is very much like bam, 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 slam, like, you know, like the more heavy looking wrestling, whereas the UK is, a lot of it's based around crowd work. Although in South Africa, I like to do crowd work as well, so I implement crowd work. I like to have a bag of strepsils in my bag for every time for after I wrestle, because I just like to do crowd work. So that's one of the main things that I found that's different in terms of the wrestling world. So yeah, the crowd work is huge, and the way here is more technical wrestling. Yeah, you do get your bump moves and stuff, but there's a lot of technical wrestling. Like, you can work a whole match off a headlock here that I've seen. People have worked a whole match of just working someone's wrist. So the style in South Africa compared to here, compared to the average workers in South Africa, that's something that's very different, just crowd work and the more technical style of wrestling. Other things that I found different so far, in terms of the wrestling, nothing too different just yet. In terms of actual like life, like normal day-to-day living, man, the snacks here are so good. Oh, I'm doing like extra cardio at the moment because I'm having like all the snacks, because obviously we don't have them in South Africa. So I'm like, go to the shop. Oh, that looks cool. Let's try one of those. So man, the snacks are so cool, so good. But yeah, other than that, the difference in here compared to SA, just also like nature-wise, weather-wise as well. Like, it's currently summer here. South African winter is currently warmer than what the summer is here. So I haven't been too lucky with weather. I've had probably, in the 2.5 weeks I've been here, I've had 1 to 2 days where I've gone out wearing a vest, but I've literally been wearing hoodies. One of my friends here said to me, don't bring any long clothes with you. So I brought 1 pair of tracksuit pants, the CPW tracksuit pants, and I brought 1 CPW hoodie and my TJ Tremor jacket. So I've had to go out and buy like hoodies and stuff because the weather has just been so cold. So yeah, that's what I found different. Next question is, where do you get your wrestling gear made? So in South Africa, I don't know of anyone specific. Like, I know overseas, like here for instance, and in like America, there's certain places that just dedicate, because there's so many workers, just they dedicate their daily life to making wrestling gear for people. In South Africa, I don't think, well, at least to my knowledge, you don't have people, or I don't have people that I know of specifically that has or does make wrestling gear. But I personally, I have two friends that are fashion designers, and they do like these massive like fashion shows and all these things. So I'll go between them both, depending on who's available at the moment. And so obviously, like I would come up with the idea of what I want, and then I would go buy the material for the ideas. Like for instance, my new style of gear. So my new style of gear, I've went super simple. For anyone that's known me, I used to wear like the long pants, and then the knee pad covers, and then the kick pad covers, and then the kick pads, and then the boots, and I had so many layers to put on. And I've just grown. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but I just wanted like the less is more lifestyle. So I kind of just have the wrestling Speedo, knee pads, and I've bought myself a pair of wrestling boots over here. I've made them custom towards me, which have been amazing so far that I've used. So pretty much for my new style of gear, I bought the material. I went to them with the idea. They made me the raw templates. I then went to the printing shops, and they, with my ideas and with my designs that I had made, they had then done the printing for me, and vice versa. So it's a long process, and even with them making my stuff for me, it wasn't just dropping my stuff off and going. It was like going there, staying there for hours while they measure me. Like my arm pad, for instance, I sat there for like hour and a half while each section of my arm was measured, molding, making, everything like that. So it's a whole process. So but again, my very first couple of wrestling gears, I just bought like random tights and I made. But as I've gone on, I've wanted to brand myself and brand my own gear. So my advice: just find someone who does sewing, like seamstress or a seamer, and make your stuff with your ideas. Best way to do it, how I ever done it, you use the WWE video games. I have the WWE 2K23, and I've just used that as my studio. And I kid you not, I use it as my studio, and I mold. Okay, that could look cool. That could not look cool. And I sit there and I use that, create my ideas, and then I go through the process and stuff. How can I join wrestling easily? I know who sent this question, and if you're watching this, just contact me directly, because I know you're in PE. But wrestling, how can you join it easily? Go to a school. Easily, again, simple. Johnny Palazzo down at down at AWA in Cape Town, Ananzi in Joburg for APWA, and if you're in the Port Elizabeth area, contact me. I'm starting a wrestling school when I get back. So then I can help you, guide you through the processes and all that stuff. So if you're watching this, just send me a DM. If you're in the PE area as well, for those who are the person who sent this. Okay, the last question for now. This is a couple of questions in one, but the last person who sent the question: who would be your ideal tag team partner locally, abroad, past and present? So locally, down in PE, the South African region, man, Alicio, 100%. I think me and Alex would make an amazing tag team. Because also we're such great friends as well. So I really think me and him would make an amazing tag team. Abroad, I would say, I'm just judging it off the people that I've worked with so far. I'm not judging it on the people that I haven't met or that I would like to work with in the bigger companies. I'm just talking about the people that I've specifically worked with or abroad. I'd like to work with the Peckham Playboy, man, Hakan, man. In the Royal Rumble, we worked had such a good little connection, man, in the Royal Rumble, working as bad guys together. So I really think that me and him could work an amazing tag team abroad. Okay. Who would your ideal tag team partner be of the past? That's a difficult one. Of the past, I'm guessing that's all the bigger companies and everything together. The past, I would say, okay, I'm gonna go specifically like WWE region. I would say, just because I love him so much, man, I would go with Edge, man. I would love to work Edge or Shawn Michaels, one of the two. But man, I would love to specifically Edge. If I had to pick number one, man, I would love to work with Edge. That would be cool. Present day tag team partner. Let's see. Heartbeat. Seth Rollins, man. Seth Rollins in a heartbeat, man. I feel like our styles are like similar, and we could just click, man. I would love to work that. Okay. Jokes. I actually got a couple more questions. I thought that was the last one. Okay. If you were to win the tag team titles, which company's titles would you like to defend? I feel like in In South Africa, CPW, 100%. That's my home company, and that's the only one, in my opinion, that I would love to win the tag team titles for. So if I had to go overseas, as a professional wrestler, anyone's dream should be going to the WWF, the biggest platform. So in my personal opinion, if I were to go to or win any company's titles, I would win WWE titles, 100%. That's the titles I would love to defend one day, if I got the chance to. Who would you be looking most forward to facing when you get back to South Africa? So, man, again, Alex, in a heartbeat, man. Me and Alex have been the best of friends for such a long time, and we've always wanted to work together. So, and as now, especially since we've started our storyline back home, when we get back, or when I get back, it's going to be so awesome to be able to start that storyline. I'm looking so forward to be able to start that storyline. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking really, really forward to that. That's the one match, or the one. Hopefully, it's not just one match. Hopefully, it's a couple matches. But in the years that have gone by, we've always worked with each other, worked around each other, but we've never worked against each other. So I'm looking so forward to working with him when I get back home. Okay, now this is the last question. Hold on. Okay, what does the future hold for TJ Tremor, the All Africa champion? Right, so currently I'm in the United Kingdom. Hopefully, the future goals, like I said, if anyone's goal as a professional wrestler is to get to the biggest stage possible, and the biggest stage possible is the WWE, man, I would drop everything to go there. So ideally, I would love to go there, and I'm going to try everything in my power to go there, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. I've risked absolutely everything, and I've come over to the UK to try and make a name for myself here and hopefully get noticed somewhere. Whether I do, whether I don't, still go back home, and yeah. But I really, really would love to get noticed while I'm here. So currently what the future holds. So I've got quite a couple of bookings that I'm going to be fulfilling over here still. Unfortunately, I was supposed to be wrestling last night, but that one got cancelled due to this train strikes happening in the UK. I wasn't aware of it, but yeah, I would have been able to get to the show, but I wouldn't have been able to get home from the show because obviously I'm relying on the trains while I'm here. And yeah, so the future currently holds on Monday, which is today is Saturday, so Sunday, Monday. I'll probably try and release this video like today, or hopefully I get it done before Monday. But so pretty much Monday, I'm headed off to Norwich to the World Association of Wrestling, WAW, massive company in Europe. Man, one of the biggest in my opinion. I'm going to be working a lot of circuits for them, so they're going to be doing like 6 shows a week for quite a couple of weeks consecutively. So I'm going to be working for them for a while. So that's currently what the future holds. And just double checking, and we're done. So thank you so much to everyone who sat down and enjoyed that nice big bowl of popcorn. So man, I'm really blessed for you guys to be able to have watched this, and hopefully I've answered your questions to the best of my ability. If any of you ever have questions again, please just shoot me a DM, and I'd love to answer them in either through a message or via like a YouTube or anything like that. So yeah, hopefully we can do this again sometime. But yeah, I'm looking really forward to what the future holds for TJ Tremor, and this was really fun. I really enjoyed doing this. So hopefully we can do one again sometime soon in the future, maybe even before I leave the UK. But for now, thank you so much for watching. This is TJ Tremor, keeping the dream alive.